Yo, what's up? It's your boy Currency 365. Hope you guys are doing well. Legends never die, they stay in our hearts. If you want to support us, click the like button, subscribe to the channel, and also you can come down here and hit the join button under the video or in our channel section. And you can also join our Patreon, patreon.com/currency365. And we also have Cash App and also PayPal for supports if you want to sow some seeds. Peace out. God bless. Enjoy the video and keep the movement going. Legends. Bye.
Back to the discussion. Now, at the risk of continuing to go on and on and on about the bot stuff, because I could literally do this with Chris for hours, because just discussions about how prompts work are things that are fascinating to me, and I know he could go on and on too. We did have some other stuff before I wanted to go to the AMA portion, because we're going to open up for questions, assuming we have connections. But Chris, are you ready to go a little bit past the agent things, talk a little bit about like maybe controversies and ethics and stuff a little bit?
Yes, absolutely. Yep, put me on the spot.
All right. So the article we started talking earlier about geo restrictions, and that we're trying to build a community using the AI to build a community. How does Bad Idea AI contribute to making digital interactions more accessible and meaningful? What I mean by that is like how through this AI are we expanding? What do you think is being done to make things more accessible?
I think it's that being able to be tapped into knowledge as fast as possible, especially in the crypto industry, where knowledge is power, and there's a lot of misunderstanding about how things work. So while this bot is social in nature and can participate in group settings, I think what it does, particularly for the community that most of us are involved in, is you want something that will not waste your time. So we always said that if Bad Idea AI gets smart enough to talk about your project, that it could probably put a couple of admins out of a job or a role, because they'll be the one to sit there and answer questions about your project, and that's the goal. And different projects have different amounts of training done to the bot system, and that directly relates back to how much the bot can answer. So it's really more about just efficiency to knowledge.
When you talk about knowledge spread, what as far as accessibility, would you say about multi-language features too? Is that part of that accessibility?
Absolutely. One of the things that we like about the model we're using right now is the multilingual capabilities. We used our own international groups and Bad Idea AI. There's 11 of them. And so far so good. Most of the models are trained on English, and that's where a lot of the problems come. And is how do you get it to recognize an international community? And if I was to take one message and convey it to 11 different communities, how can I do that in a way that could be culturally understood? Because we know that words matter, and words can be interpreted differently based on your culture. So it has that capability. I'm not saying it's perfect, but it makes efforts to be understood as best as possible in different settings. And this bot, you can actually set the primary language as an example. So over in the Persian group, if someone talks in English and they set it to talk in Farsi or whatever language they want, it will still respond back in the native language of that group. And I'm pretty proud of how that implementation's been going.
And like you said, that eases the strain on admin or mod teams and other places. In particular, I've seen projects, from my experience at least, that as they begin to grow and they expand and they get that first request for a second language group, either a Spanish language group or maybe a Persian or Arabic group or whatever, you're immediately struggling to find mods or having a hard time covering UTC hours that maybe your team isn't there. So the ability for the bot to be there to provide those translations, push messages and pick stuff up is another accessibility feature that makes the fact that it's operating on Telegram a little bit more unique, I think, right?
Oh, yeah. In the past, I've had other projects that had like numerous international groups, and it took forever to get a message out. And I use the AI agents to pass out a message in all the communities in less than 3 minutes, single-handedly, and that just helps a lot. So if you got very large communities, then the value of AI in supporting you.
And
I'll use it.
I'm going to
Yeah, go ahead.
The final thing that I was looking at when I read through that article is obviously you were mentioning future developments. You're talking about the things you're still working on. So this is probably the most fun part of the whole interview for you, because I'm just basically interested in what are you doing right now? What are some things that you've got your eye on for things that are like right immediately in your windshield, coming down the road? And then what are some things you would signpost as things to look forward to that you think is exciting?
One area that we're doing right now, and I'm still working on the plugins for it, is to connect it to the blockchain. And we have some partners. CoinMerge is one of them. They got a product called Web3 Shards. And we now know how to take a prompt and know when to turn that into a database query, for example. So now we got to do the other end and connect the left hand with the right hand, because they provide data. So they can say, this is the transaction volume on Shibarium. This is this particular token's performance today for 24 hours is up 15%. Because what I would love to see, bad idea AI, let's say it's sitting in the Shiba Punks or in Toad or any of these other groups, and it goes, "Hey everyone, I just found out that our price is up 15%. Woohoo!" And it starts shilling in crypto bro mode or something, and so that's the idea, is it becomes to emulate another member of the community. So that's why we're trying to do something different than a simple prompt get an answer. We're really trying to find ways to feed it information and see if we can just get it to act like another crazy member of the community. So that's one of them. It's already listening in conversations, and it's awareness of what one person is saying to another person, and then the bot responding to the third person about what the first person said in context is something that we've been experimenting with for a while, and that one's gotten pretty good. We also are supporting other projects, and we can go even more on the machine learning. So if anyone's building on Shibarium, send me your white paper, send me a link. I'll train the bots on your project. But we can even set up the persona and personality. So you want a certain way for it to act for your community. That's coming soon as well, with additional command lines.
From my experience in the groups that I've been in, just not just the bad idea group, but other groups, the bot chiming into ongoing conversation is a unique feature. You never
Yeah.
know what's going to come from it. And I will be the first to admit, sometimes I delete what it says just to get it out of the
Yes.
chat, or maybe it's way too long, or it doesn't always hit a home run. But there are times where I've had community members in what I would describe as like crypto lounges, or not specific to like one token. It can get really sassy. I don't know if you guys have got it in any groups yet that are not one project specific, but if you're in like a crypto lounge or one of those shiller groups, it's going to take on a very different dynamic, because those interactions within that group are not just one token, specific. So you'll see some funny stuff come out of the auto, what we call the auto responder, I think, from time to time. I look forward to that getting way more. I don't want to be weird and say human, but I look forward to that getting more organic looking. Because right now
Yeah.
my biggest complaint is, it's bullshit coming from the bot, because simply the length of the response is like, oh
Yeah.
damn, here comes a bot post. So like if it could slide in, just roast somebody in like 12 words or less, sometimes I think that would be cool.
I can do that. Yep. And the thing is the bot doesn't know, or any AI doesn't know what's going to say until it's done saying it. So you cannot tell. I think, by the way, I don't know if anyone knew this. You can't tell an AI, write me something for 120 words or less. It doesn't. It can't do it. You can say maybe in 3 sentences, but you can't give it a word count, because it doesn't count words while it's writing. It's going to do it until it finishes its word salad and figures it out. Then you can go back and say, shorten what you just wrote to whatever, and then it can do it, because then it just has what it's working with. So it doesn't know what it's going to say, because it's predictive algorithms, until it's done. So that's the hard part. You can say clear and concise, and that does work, but you can't actually give it a word count. If you say, for example, give me 120 words, they'll give you 120 words and then stop dead, and you got like a hanging paragraph.
That's interesting. I'll have to go back and check that because I often use a prompt that is limited to 240 characters for X posts. Now
Right.
you're going to make me ask, and then I'll be like, now count those words, you son of a bitch. How many words are there? What did you just do to me?
Yeah, it's
I
going
didn't
to
even
say,
think about that.
how dare you limit me from my perfection?
Yeah, and I'm going to start checking that. That's actually a great tip. See, I knew I'd learn something today if I came in and jumped in. Somebody mentioned to me in another message that users were having a better experience on desktop X and that they were not having the same audio problems. I know X was having audio problems earlier today. In fact, earlier this morning, our time X was actually down entirely for a short period. It appears maybe it's just affecting mobile users because a couple of people have told me that the desktop experience has not been as bad. So if any of you are still listening and you're trying to switch, maybe the desktop experience is better, would be my guess. You could check that out. That's the last tip I'll give on that. I'm not trying to harbor on the fact that thing is weird, but X has been weird today. That is basically the depth of all the major questions that I had for you. I would ask at this point if anybody wanted to come up for an AMA or had any questions about agent prompting or prompting in general or stuff like that. Now would be the time to do it. This is one of those not often technical chats that we've talked about. So if you've had questions about how you can use the bot in your group, how to use the menu function, how to write better prompts for your bot, how is Mr. Lightspeed deciding what information gets entered? These are all things I'm just making up in case anybody wants to come up and ask. But what we are not really looking for is like when listing, when moon type shit. That's not the spaces right now that I was hoping to have. So if you have technical questions, if you've been sitting on questions about how all this stuff works, now's the time. Now would be a great time to come up and pick his brain. And remember, if any of this was exciting to you, you could DM the bot. That's the best way to actually learn most of this stuff. You don't have to go to your public chats and do all this in front of everybody. That's not good. Go and DM the bot. You can start a conversation. You do still need to use the /bad or /bad with 2 Ds, depending on the version of the bot you're going to interact with. And you can try all of this prompt work. You can try it all there. The bot's not going to make fun of you. It's not going to judge you for getting it wrong or asking silly questions. So DM your way through this lesson. Go in there and start asking agent prompts. Go see if creating the agent profiles is more work than what you think it is, because we were talking about paragraphs of prompting. Go see if you were being, brief with your prompts and that was actually costing you, like Lightspeed said, it was costing you time, because what you end up doing is you end up doing 5 or 6 bad prompts, wasting everybody's time computationally and existentially, instead of taking all that time to write one good prompt one time, right? Measure twice, cut once type stuff. I'm sure some of you can appreciate that. So I hope that somebody tests this agent stuff and then comes into the bad idea chat and tells us, hey, after that spaces, Chris explained agents and I had never thought about that. And now I've been having them have debates about everything and they're helping me make decisions too, because I'm using agent prompting, right? What do you think, Chris?
Could be pretty helpful in that. They're geared between one guiding the conversation, one has more analytics, one's more knowledge. So you should get a pretty round debate around your issues, and you may end up reading some different point of views you didn't think of considering.
I'm gonna go in there as an automotive shop owner. I'm a manager at an auto shop, and I'm gonna tell the bot, all right, I've got a problem employee who's been coming in a little bit late, and they've slowed down on their work, and I need you to debate this for me. You're 3 different agents, and your first agent is someone who hires slow, fires fast. You're not really tolerant of things like that. The second agent is a more empathetic person who's maybe more concerned about whether or not this person's going to be able to land on their feet. You see where I'm going with this? Like, this is not just crypto related. You could be asking this thing questions about your day-to-day activities or how you're making decisions at home or what you're going to have for dinner. You could have an agent debate, a heated agent debate. Your 3 agents. One of you is Gordon Ramsay. One of you is Guy Fieri, mayor of Flavortown. And the other one is, my 6-year-old daughter who only loves gummy candies. And you're going to debate what's for dinner. That's a thing. You can do that. Right, you're laughing. I just made that up. But that's exactly the type of silly stuff you can go do. And then the cool thing is Lightspeed has to comb through that data. And that makes me laugh.
Yeah, I go, how in the heck am I going to fine tune this model now? Because I got gummy bears in it.
Yeah.
But yeah, and if you want to find, get something that fits you, the normal mode is there for y'all to use it. So don't hesitate to try the other modes. We also have a tutor mode that's oriented more to focusing on teaching. And so there's other ways to go about setting up those multiple agents to work for you.
Yep. And if at any point you have any questions, you have the ability to just ask the bot for help about agent prompting. You don't have to immediately run back to another human and ask them. You can even ask the bot questions. Hey, I heard about how I can use agent prompting. Can you tell me how agent prompting works? And you'd be surprised. It could walk you through even the process of how to prompt itself. It's very helpful like that. So any questions you have, either if the bot can't figure it out, then you come to the Bad Idea Telegram, and everybody in there is basically at this point becoming an AI expert one day at a time. So you can ask your question in there, and I'm sure somebody will be able to point you in the right direction, or ideally. No requests. So X Spaces is either completely dysfunctional and all of us need to write to the manager of X Spaces, or nobody had any questions at all. Either way, that's weird. No one had any questions.
We can get into some of the things we're planning on doing, but
Okay, let's do that. Since nobody had any questions about agent prompting, why don't you fill us in, because it's about 15 minutes till normally we try and wrap up within the hour. So why don't you hit us with what you got going on?
Yep. Right now, we've been working on some partnerships. There's some projects that are going to be launching. So we have been discussing synergies on how we can support each other. Um, I know me personally, and a lot of people in the community want to bridge over to Shibarium, and we now know of some additional projects with some amazing talent that could help us do that. Now it's just a matter of, hey, give me some resources so we can make this happen. So I'll be doing a meeting on Thursday to see if we can get some additional resources, both in manpower and in tokens, because bridging needs to lock away things for the bridge, right? So I give you this token, and then you're going to give me this one on the other side of the bridge. So we got to figure a way to buy some bone. And I think when we do that, and that's the part that I think people miss, is we're going to buy bone. People are going to be excited about that. Then we're going to use that bone to set up liquidity as wrapped bone on the other side. So this is all going to come together, and I'm excited about it. But now Bad Idea AI is being used to support projects that are getting launched. They want a bot in there that can help answer questions, makes their life easier. So that's another way to get exposure. We're now in over 100 and 102 groups. The community's best contribution they can make is to try to get this bot installed in as many groups as possible, and then just give me feedback. Yeah, they didn't like it because it did this or that, and then I can go, oh, well, I can fix that. I can build this mode, or I can build that, so that they'll want to keep using it. So the feedback is also something I need. And we're going to put some more charts out there. There's a channel that's just an announcement channel. The AI bots post in there routinely statistics. We'll get charts. We'll get other things so that those people who are shilling or marketing will have quantifiable, what I like to call FUD-proof information, unless it actually is bad information. And oh, those stats look bad. Then yeah, it will work against you. But what we want to do is show the user adoption. The number of users every day is around 800. I think we're topping 3,200 of unique individuals that are using it since I started recording 2 weeks ago. I wish I was recording since 6 months ago, because extrapolating it, I think we're in the 30,000 plus range of people who are using this in DMs. But I started counting just a couple weeks ago, unique people. So we're around 3,000 of that. And then in 2 weeks, you'll have the averages for a 30-day average. But the total population now, over 82,000 people are exposed to the bot every day, assuming everyone logs in once. And we know that's not possible. So that's the maximum impressions that someone putting an advertisement in the bot. So if someone buys a slot, a little bit of bad is burned, because we're doing utility-based burns. and the rest can be used for marketing or developing the bot further and offload overhead costs from the project and whatnot. So we're now more in the user adoption phase and getting people to use the product, because that's what's going to sustain the project for the long haul, Shane.
And you already mentioned the ads. That's where I was going to go with the idea that these numbers are being tracked, that you're tracking groups, users, impressions, and statistics like that. Eventually, it manifests in the kind of data that a potential advertiser would want to see before making a buying decision on an ad. So that's why that's valuable. If there are people in here that are wondering why that's such a big important thing, it's because the more people that see the bot every time it posts a message, the more potentially you could go to one of your other projects that isn't bad idea. Maybe it's an NFT project, maybe it's a project on another chain or something, and you could say, hey, I've got this AI bot that I like to use. It's integrated in hundreds of groups across Telegram. It gets 100,000 impressions a day, and you could, for a small fee, get an ad on there, just like Bobby Buy Bot or any other ad that you would have bought on a Telegram bot, and get those same impressions on your advertisement. And not only if they do that is that good for them, but that money, like you said, is used to burn some tokens, which is something that apparently nobody will ever shut up about. So we're going to have to use those advertising dollars to burn some tokens is the goal. So if people out there constantly are asking when burn, I would ask, when are you going to sell a marketing slot? You're going to have to find somebody to fill that marketing slot, and you can send them to us if you need to close the deal. But go to your projects, go to the places you hang out, the wretched hives of scum and villainy that you spend your time in outside of the bad idea place, the Moss Isley cantinas of crypto, and see if there's somebody that wants an advertisement. It can be anybody. Doesn't even have to be crypto related. I don't care if it's grandma's tamales and they want to run an ad on it. We'll take it. We'll figure out a way to take that money, right, Chris?
Yeah, we'll figure it out. And we do want to incentivize the burns. And I think the burns should be earned. And that will show you who's actively caring about the project. And because a lot, 90% of crypto buys in only because of hype. But when you're in
Yep.
build phase, the strategy changes. And so that's what we're doing. And then there's still a secret surprise. Shy hinted on that secret surprise. The last feedback I got was development is going fantastic on it. It would blow what I'm working on with the chatbot system out of the water, and so I have high hopes for it. I'm eager. I'm the one that's going when now, because I just want to see the reveal, and it's beyond my capability to code. I've had to dust off my Python skills. This is going to be what I call a bit more multi-dimensional. It's gonna be pretty cool.
Well, I'm excited for it too. I know if you're excited, that's a big deal. I'm obviously not in anybody's DMs asking them about it, but we have something to look forward to. 15 minutes in here, 45 minus the 5 that we started with in the beginning. Nobody has requested a spot. We've been open for AMA stuff. I haven't seen any hands again. X spaces have been weird today. Not everybody has had a perfect audio experience, so maybe we're having problems getting hands up. This will be your last call, everybody, for AMA spots. We're going to wrap this thing up, send Chris on his way for the rest of his day, and let you all go back to whatever it is you were doing. So if you had any questions, concerns, comments, you wanted to come up, now would be the time, because otherwise we're going to wrap this thing up, send everybody on their way. We talked about a lot of stuff. Let's do the recap of the entire thing today. We talked basically about agent prompting. We covered an article that was written and circulated on CoinMarketCap and on Medium that Chris had put out a month or two ago about agents and agent prompting and how Bad Idea uses those agents. So if you have ever had any questions about agent prompting or why we use the images that we use that include multiple, AI robots or agents and stuff like that, you got a good lesson on that today. And hopefully what you walked away with was the understanding that you yourself could be using agent prompting in your AI interactions. We at the Pulse College, my group of people that we hang out with, have been calling it the year of productivity, 2024, the year where we're going to learn to use AI to leverage the work that we have been doing and make it easier on ourselves to do more for less, work smarter, not harder. So the agent discussion today was intended to make you smarter so that when you leave here, you can spend the next week or so trying these agent prompts on your own and then report back to us. Let us know how it's going. Let us know what you learned. Let us know what we need to cover next time, because it's going to take a lot of get-togethers like this to sharpen everybody's swords to make us all very, very good at this. So I want to say thank you to everybody that came as a listener. I know I saw a lot of people come in and out. Midday spaces are weird. We're trying to catch multiple time zones. We have a lot of listeners in different time zones. So thanks to everybody that came in. If you had a bad audio experience, I apologize. Like I said, at support or at spaces for all your complaints. If you leave them in the comments of this spaces, it would be an easy reference for them to come back to. Just at support or at spaces. Hey, I had a weird audio experience. Here, come check it out. I would also like to personally thank Mr. Lightspeed for being here today, not just because we're here talking about Bad Idea AI, but because I just like talking to him. He's a fun guy. Thank you for carving out the time. I know it's traveling spaces for you, so double bonus points for traveling spaces. You know how that works, man. Anything to say to everybody before we shut it down?
I just want to say thank you for tuning in to hear a little bit more about the tech talk of it. I did slide in some hints about what we're going on in the future, so those who actually tuned in get to the privy of some of that. And I just appreciate everyone very much for sticking through there as we.
Thank you to Chris again for being here. Everybody in the listener spots, the comments, the shares, and stuff like that. Everybody that hit the reminder button to be here. This was very, very cool. I hope we answered everybody's questions. For myself, before I go, I am here in the Bad Idea spaces, but I am Pulse Digital or Shane. I'm over there in that yellow and blue profile picture. So if you want to follow me, you can follow that account. If you want to follow Bad Idea, you need to follow this account. We exist in separate worlds. So make sure you check out my account over there. I do X spaces all the time. I do memes and all kinds of weird stuff. If you want to see more Bad Idea content, I know you're probably already following this account, but do it in the future. Stay tuned for more X spaces, spaces about the token, spaces about the community, spaces about whether or not they're going to fix spaces in the future. Who knows? Stay tuned. I'm Shane, Pulse Digital. We were here with Mr. Lightspeed, and you were here with Bad Idea AI today, and we will catch you again at the next X Spaces, guys. Have a great day. I appreciate you. We'll see you next time.